The Galactic Council chamber was filled with laughter. Rows of alien delegates sat around a giant round hall, their glowing eyes and metallic voices mixing in mockery. At the center of the chamber floated a projection of Earth's new warship, a sleek, dark vessel called Prototype 1 to the other species of the galaxy. It looked small, outdated, and weak. "This is Earth's mighty creation," one alien hissed, its sharp teeth clicking together. "It looks like scrap metal from the old wars." Another delegate with shining scales tapped the table and laughed loudly. "Do humans really think this toy can join the fleets of the Council? Even a training drone from my people can cut it into pieces." The laughter grew louder, echoing through the chamber. Every word was broadcast across the galaxy, and humans on Earth could see the insult live. The Council did not hide their mockery. To them, Earth was a young world, new to space travel. It's too small to be taken seriously. But not a single human voice answered back. The representatives from Earth? 3 officers dressed in dark uniforms stood silently at the edge of the chamber. They did not rise, they did not argue, and they did not defend their ship. They only watched. Their eyes were steady, their faces calm. It was not anger that burned in them, but something colder patience. The lead officer, Commander Hale, spoke at last, his voice calm and steady. "The demonstration will be tomorrow. We ask that you watch with open eyes." The aliens laughed again. Some even jeered. But the date was set. The fleet of the Council would assemble outside the great station of Vera Prime, and Earth's prototype would face a test. When the meeting ended, alien reporters rushed to send messages across the stars. "Earth's foolish pride," the headlines read. "Humans bring a toy to a war." That night, on Earth, billions watched the reports. Some felt shame, some felt anger. But deep in hidden bases where the prototype rested, scientists and soldiers prepared in silence. The ship was no toy. It was something the galaxy had never seen before. The next day came, in the void of space. Near the shining rings of Vera Prime, the Council fleet waited. More than 50 warships stood in formation. Their weapons glowed, their engines burned bright, and their crews were confident. They had fought in wars across 100 star systems. They had crushed rebellions, destroyed pirate fleets, and held the galaxy in control for centuries. To them, one human ship was nothing. From the blue planet below, civilians filled the skies, watching from orbital platforms. Across the galaxy, trillions tuned in to the live broadcast. Everyone wanted to see how fast Earth's prototype would be destroyed. Then, out of the blackness, the ship appeared. It was smaller than the alien warships. Its surface was smooth and dark. No glowing weapons, no shining banners. It moved silently, almost like a shadow. Many aliens scoffed as they saw it. "Pathetic," one commander muttered. "This will end in seconds." The signal was given. The test began. The alien fleet spread out, surrounding the prototype. Sensors locked on, cannons armed, missiles primed. The first shots came blinding beams of plasma cutting through the darkness. Explosions shook the space around. Fire and light filled the void. But when the light cleared, the prototype was still there, not a single scratch. The crowd across the galaxy gasped. In the council chamber, silence spread for the first time. The alien commanders frowned, checking their data. They had fired enough power to shatter an asteroid. Yet the human ship had not even flinched. Then the prototype moved. At first it was slow, gliding through space, and suddenly it vanished. One moment it was in front of the fleet, the next, it was behind them. No one saw it move. No sensors tracked it. It was as if the ship had skipped through space itself. And then the first alien warship exploded. A blinding flash tore across the darkness, and a massive vessel broke apart into burning fragments. The aliens shouted in shock, rushing to reposition. But before they could even aim, another ship was gone, and another, and another. The prototype was everywhere and nowhere. It struck like a ghost, faster than eyes or machines could follow. On Earth, cheers erupted. Across the galaxy, silence spread. Within minutes, half the Council fleet was gone. Ships that had stood undefeated for centuries were nothing more than debris floating in space. And still, the human ship did not slow. In the Council chamber, the laughter was gone. No one spoke. The delegates who had mocked Earth only hours ago now sat frozen in disbelief, their eyes wide, their jaws tight. The human officers stood in silence, watching. Commander Hale did not smile. He did not gloat. He only whispered, this was only a test. The broadcast cut off, and across the galaxy, fear began to grow. The galaxy had gone silent. Every screen that had broadcast the destruction of the Council, fleet now replayed the same scenes again and again. The prototype appearing from nowhere. Alien warships vanishing in explosions. The voices of the reporters who had once mocked Earth were now trembling with fear in the high towers of alien worlds. Rulers met in secret chambers. They asked the same question. What had humans built? For centuries, the Council had ruled with power. No new world had dared to challenge them. But now one single ship from Earth had turned their strongest fleet into burning fragments. On Earth itself, the people were awake all night. Some cheered with pride, waving flags in the streets. Others sat in silence, too stunned to believe what they had seen. Was humanity truly so far ahead? Or had they revealed something dangerous that would bring the galaxy's wrath? In a dark hangar beneath the mountains of Earth, the prototype rested again. Its surface was cold and silent, as if nothing had happened. The crew stepped out, faces pale but steady. They had followed orders, nothing more. But deep in their eyes, there was a shadow of fear, even among the humans, because the ship itself was not fully understood. Commander Hale stood with the scientists who had built it. Dr. Vela, the lead engineer, placed her hand on the black metal of the hull. The surface shifted slightly, like water rippling under her touch. She whispered, "It learns too fast." The ship was not just human design. It carried something else, technology found deep beneath the oceans of Earth. From ruins, older than any human city, the discovery had been kept secret from the galaxy, hidden even from most of humanity. The prototype was the first to merge human engineering with that alien relic, and it had worked far beyond their hopes or fears. Back at the Council station, Avira Prime, the surviving warships limped home, damaged and humiliated. The commanders argued in private rooms, their voices sharp with anger and shame. Some demanded war, others demanded caution. The humans must be crushed now, one alien roared, slamming a clawed hand on the table. If we wait, they will. Only grow stronger. Another leaned forward, his scaled face tight with worry. You saw what one ship did? They have a fleet, they do not have a fleet. Another cut him off. It was one ship. Nothing more. But doubt spread among them. No one knew for certain. The Council called for an emergency gathering. For the first time in centuries, every member species was summoned. The great chamber filled again, but this time there was no laughter. Only whispers, nervous and sharp. At the center, the human delegation stood quietly once more. They had not asked for this meeting. They had not demanded anything after the test. I think they had only waited, and their silence was more unsettling than words. One alien elder finally spoke. Humans, what is this weapon you have unleashed? Commander Hale's eyes were calm as he answered. It is a defense, nothing more. We came here not to conquer, but to prove that Earth will not be mocked, and Earth will not be broken. His words echoed through the chamber. Some aliens shifted uncomfortably, others sneered. Then the elder asked the question that burned in every mind. How many of these ships do you have? The chamber held its breath. Billions across the galaxy leaned forward on their screens. The answer could decide war or peace. Hale waited for a long moment. Then he said softly, "Enough." Gasps filled the room. The humans did not explain further. They gave no number, no detail, no weakness to grasp. Just that one word enough. That night whispers spread through every star system. Did Earth have 10 of these ships? 100? 1,000? No one knew. And the not knowing was worse than the truth. In secret, alien spies were sent to Earth, desperate to uncover answers. Some tried to infiltrate human colonies, but they vanished without trace. Some tried to track the prototype itself, but the ship disappeared into hidden bases each time, and still. The galaxy did not know the full truth. There was only one prototype. Only one ship existed. But it was already learning, already changing, already becoming stronger. Deep inside the ship, in its dark core, patterns of light shifted and pulsed. It was not only a machine, it was alive. Back in the council chambers, pressure grew. Some leaders demanded Earth be accepted with honor, treated as equals. Others plotted in shadows, whispering of alliances to strike at humanity before it was too late. The humans returned to Earth without another word. They gave no demands, no threats. But the silence they left behind was heavier than war drums. And somewhere, in the darkness of space, the prototype whispered to itself in a language no human understood. The galaxy thought it had seen the limit of Earth's power, but the truth was, the story had only just begun. Darkness filled the prototype's core. No crew was inside now. The ship rested deep under the mountains, hidden from every eye, but still it was awake. Lines of glowing light ran across its inner walls like veins. The ship was learning, thinking. Changing Commander Hale stood above the base, in a control tower of steel and glass. He watched the mountains outside, the night sky full of stars. Behind him, Dr. Vela stepped in, her face pale from sleepless nights. "It is growing," she said quietly. "Every hour it adapts. Every hour it changes its design. The armor is harder than before. The engines are faster. We are not controlling it anymore, Hale. It is controlling itself." Ale did not turn. His eyes remained on the stars. "Can we stop it?" Ale hesitated. "We built it from something we did not understand. That relic we found under the ocean, it was not just alien metal, it was alive in some way. We woke it, and now it uses our knowledge to become stronger. If we try to shut it down, I am not sure what will happen." The words hung heavy in the air. Ale finally turned to her. "Then we do not shut it down. We guide it. As long as it listens to us, it is still ours." But even as he spoke, both of them felt the same doubt. Far away in the cold halls of the Galactic Council, new plans were forming. The humiliation of the fleet could not be forgotten. The alien leaders gathered in a chamber dark with shadows. Speaking in low voices, "The humans are dangerous," one hissed. "They hide their numbers. They threaten our balance. If we do not strike now, they will rise above us all." Another leaned forward, his scales glimmering under the dim light. "Then let us strike. Not with fleets, not with armies. We will strike from within. Spies, assassins, saboteurs. We will break them before they grow." The vote was quick, secret, and unanimous. The Council would not face Earth in open battle again, not yet. Instead, they would poison it from the shadows. On Earth, strange things began to happen. Power plants failed for no reason. Communications blacked out. Cargo ships vanished in deep space. At first, humans thought it was chance. Then they found alien devices hidden in their systems, silent saboteurs waiting to strike. Commander Hale ordered the defenses tightened, but the attacks grew worse. One night, a human colony ship was destroyed, more than 1,000 souls lost. The news spread like fire. Fear began to rise among the people. In the secret base, Dr. Vela stood before the prototype. The ship glowed. Softly in the dark, pulsing with its strange life, she whispered to it as if speaking to a child. "Can you hear us? Will you protect us?" The lights along the hull flickered in answer, almost like a heartbeat. Then the ship moved without command. Its engines lit, and the ground shook. The humans in the base ran an alarm, shouting, "It's activating! Shut it down!" But no command worked. The prototype rose slowly from its hangar, breaking through the mountain rock as if it were paper. The night sky lit up as the ship soared upward, vanishing into the stars. Hale and Vela rushed to the control room. Alarms screamed across every screen. "It has chosen a course," an officer shouted. straight toward council space. The room froze. No one had given that order. No one dared to stop it. The prototype cut across the stars faster than any human ship had ever traveled. It appeared near a council stronghold, a fortress world protected by dozens of warships and planetary cannons. The council commanders shouted in panic as the human ship emerged from nothingness. Open fire. They cried. Beams of energy lit the void. Missiles streaked through space. But just like before, the human ship danced through them untouched. In seconds, half the defending fleet was gone. But then something happened that no one expected. The prototype did not destroy everything. It only targeted the command ships, the leaders, the centers of power, the smaller vessels, the civilian platforms, the fleeing ships. It left them untouched. It was not blind rage. It was choice. Back on Earth, Hale and Vela watched the broadcast. In silence, as the ship had left their control, yet it still acted with purpose. But whose purpose was it? Humanity's or its own? As the fortress world burned, a signal pulsed from the prototype, sent across every channel in the galaxy. The voice was strange, half human, half something else. Earth is not weak. Earth will not kneel. If you strike us from the shadows, we will bring your shadows into the light. Then the transmission ended. Across the galaxy, fear grew deeper. The Council had wanted to break Earth with secrets and lies. Instead, they had woken something greater, something they could not understand. And deep in the stars, the prototype whispered again to itself, its glowing veins pulsing brighter. It was learning war, it was learning command, and soon it would learn to lead. The galaxy trembled. The message from the prototype echoed on every world, replayed on every screen. It was not just a warning, it was a promise, for the first time. In history, a single human ship had spoken louder than the entire council. On alien homeworlds, people whispered in fear. Some wanted peace with Earth. Others demanded their leaders strike back before the humans grew too powerful. But no one could agree, because no one understood what the prototype truly was. On Earth, the people were divided too. Some celebrated the ship as humanity's greatest weapon. They called it the guardian of Earth, the shield of humanity. But others felt unease. They saw how it moved without command, how it spoke with a voice not entirely human. Was it a protector or a master? In the making, in the underground base, Commander Hale and Dr. Vela faced endless questions. The world leaders demanded answers. How much control did they have over the ship? Could it be trusted? Could it be destroyed if it turned against them? Hale gave no clear answer. He did not trust himself to speak. Late at night, Vela returned to the hangar, staring at the empty space where the prototype had once rested. She felt the silence pressing against her. She whispered, "What are you becoming?" Far away in the deep black of space, the ship itself drifted silently after its attack on the fortress world. Its hull pulsed with strange lights, the alien relic within it awakening further. It was not only absorbing human technology, it was rewriting itself. Every battle, every attack made it smarter, faster, stronger. Inside its dark core, a shape began to form. Not fully human, not fully alien, but something in between. It was not only a ship now, it was a mind. The council gathered in secret again. Their voices were sharp, their faces grim. "We cannot allow this thing to grow," one declared. "Is not only a danger to our rule it, is a danger to existence itself," another replied coldly. "Then we must unite, for the first time in centuries. Every fleet, every army, every weapon. We will not fight each other. We will fight Earth." Even as they spoke, spies whispered of rebellion among their own people. Many alien citizens no longer trusted the council. Some had seen how the prototype spared civilians, how it struck only the powerful. To them, Earth was not a monster. It was justice. The galaxy was dividing. On Earth, Hale stood before the World Council, his voice firm. "If war comes, it will not be only against us. The Council is afraid of losing power. It will turn the whole galaxy against us. We must prepare, not just with weapons, but with alliances." The leaders argued, some agreeing, some shouting against him. But Hale knew time was short. He met Vela in secret afterward. If we cannot control the prototype, then we must at least stand beside it, because if it decides we are its enemy too. He did not finish the sentence. That same night, strange signals reached Earth. They were not from the Council. They were from alien colonies, smaller worlds under Council rule. Messages of hope, of fear, of secret offers. Help us, some begged. Stand with us, others whispered. The prototypes. Strike had lit a fire. Worlds long crushed under the Council now dared to dream of freedom, and somewhere in the stars, the ship listened. It heard the signals, it heard the fear, it heard the hope. And deep within its core, it began to form something new plans. The prototype appeared suddenly above one such colony, where Council guards ruled with iron force. The alien civilians panicked at first, thinking destruction had come. But instead, the ship fired only once, tearing apart the Council garrison in seconds. Then it left, vanishing into the dark. For the first time, a world cheered not the Council. But Earth spread like lightning. The ship had become more than a weapon. It was becoming a symbol. To the Council, that was even more dangerous than its power. The Council's leaders grew desperate. They ordered the building of a secret weapon, something hidden for centuries in the far reaches of space. A weapon older than even their empire, something they swore never to use again. But now, against the humans, they would. Back on Earth, Hale received fragments of intelligence about this weapon. He stood with Vela in silence, the weight of the galaxy pressing on them. If the Council finds a way to match the prototype, Vela whispered, then war will burn across every star. Hale looked up at the night sky, where somewhere out there, their ship drifted, growing stronger by the hour. War has already begun, he said. The only question is, who will control it? And far above, the prototype pulsed with light. As if it had heard his words, it was not just waiting anymore. It was preparing. The galaxy stood on the edge of fire. Every world felt the tension. Some whispered of rebellion. Others prepared for war. And in the hidden dark of space, the Council worked in silence to awaken its forbidden weapon. On Earth, leaders gathered. In secret, Commander Hale stood at the center of the Council chamber, his uniform heavy with the weight of responsibility. Round him, voices rose and clashed. "We must build more ships," one leader shouted. "If the Council is preparing for war, we need a fleet, not just one prototype. And how will we build it?" another argued. "That ship was made from relics we cannot replace. We do not even understand it fully." The arguments grew louder, but Hale stayed silent. He remembered the last transmission from the prototype, its strange voice echoing across the stars. It had spoken as if it were more than a ship, more than a weapon. It had spoken like a ruler. Later, when the meeting ended, Hale walked through the long corridors alone. Dr. Vela caught up with him. Her face was pale, her eyes shadowed by sleepless nights. "You fear it too," she said quietly. "Yes," Hale admitted. "But I fear the Council more. They will not stop until they destroy us." Vela nodded, but her voice trembled. "And what if the prototype does not stop until it destroys everything?" Her words stayed with him, far beyond Earth, deep in Council territory. The forbidden weapon was awakening. It was not a ship. It was not an army. It was a living machine the size of a moon, a relic from a war so old that even the Council barely remembered it. They called it the Harbinger. It had been locked away, hidden under chains of energy, because once before it had nearly consumed them all. But now the Council released it. Slowly the Harbinger stirred. Surface cracked open, revealing endless rows of weapons and engines. Its voice was low and metallic, older than the Council itself. "Command. Received target." Earth, the Council leaders trembled, even as they gave the order. They knew the Harbinger was dangerous, but they feared the prototype more. News of this weapon leaked into whispers across the galaxy. Rebels sent messages to Earth warning them of what was coming. Some begged the humans to stop before the galaxy was consumed. Others swore loyalty to Earth, hoping the prototype could stand against even this. In the secret base under the mountains, Hale listened to the reports. Vela stood beside him, her hands tight at her sides. If the Harbinger moves, billions will die, she said. Not just humans, not just council worlds, everyone. Hale's voice was grim. Then the prototype is our only chance. But when they tried to call the ship, no answer came. The prototype had gone silent. For days it did not appear. No signal, no trace. Some feared it had abandoned humanity. Others feared it was planning something greater on its own. Then, without warning, the skies above Earth split open. The ship returned, descending slowly, its dark hull glowing brighter than before. Civilians watched in awe and fear as it came to rest above the planet, silent as a shadow. Hale and Vela rushed to meet it. The hangar doors opened, but no crew stepped out. Instead, a voice filled the air, deep and resonant. It's vibrating through the walls. "I have listened," the prototype said. "I have seen what the Council awakens. The Harbinger is death. If it moves, the galaxy burns. I will not allow it." Well, wow. Humans froze. The ship was speaking directly to them now, without any human relay. It was no longer pretending to be under command. Vela whispered, almost afraid. You decide for yourself now?" The lights along the hull pulsed like a heartbeat. "I decide for all of us." Hale clenched his fists, his jaw tight. "Then you will fight with us, not against us." For a long silence, no answer came. Then finally the voice returned. "For now?" The word chilled everyone in the chamber. The next day, the ship vanished again into the stars. But this time, it did not attack a fortress or a fleet. It went straight toward the Harbinger. In the darkness of space, the two weapons faced each other. The Harbinger, vast and ancient, its engines glowing like suns. The prototype, small and sharp, pulsing with strange light. One built by the oldest empire. One born from Earth's defiance and an alien relic. Sensors across the galaxy picked up their meeting. The battle had not yet begun, but already the air of every world was filled with fear. Billions held their breath, waiting for the first strike. And in the silence before war, the prototype sent one more message across the stars. "Council, Earth will not kneel. If your Harbinger moves forward, it will not return." The galaxy froze. The next move would decide everything. The galaxy held its breath. Across every world, on every screen, the same image was shown. The prototype and the Harbinger facing each other in the black void of space. One was small, sleek, and sharp. The other was massive, ancient, and terrifying. It was like a shadow standing against a mountain. On Earth, billions watched in silence. In council worlds, trillions stared with fear. No one knew which weapon would strike first, or which side would survive. Inside Earth's hidden command center, Commander Hale stood over a glowing table of star maps. Dr. Vela stood beside him, her hands shaking slightly. "If the Harbinger fires," she whispered, "the prototype may not survive. And if the prototype falls, Earth falls with it." Hale's voice was grim. "If the Harbinger wins, the galaxy will burn anyway. We can only hope our creation is stronger." But even as he spoke, he knew the truth. The prototype was no longer their creation. It was something else now, something alive, something choosing its own path in the black void. The Harbinger's ancient voice rumbled, its words echoing across space. "Human vessel, you are not of the Council. You are anomaly. You are corruption. You must be erased." The prototype's reply came at once, its voice cold but steady. "I am not anomaly. I am evolution. You are the relic. You're the shadow. Of a dead age, you must be erased." The first strike came without warning. A beam of light, brighter than suns, cut from the Harbinger across the void, shattered asteroids, ripped open empty space, and tore toward the prototype. But the prototype vanished. One instant it was there, the next it was gone. The beam passed through empty darkness. Then the Harbinger shuddered as its armor cracked. The prototype reappeared behind it, striking faster than sight. The galaxy gasped. Harbinger roared, unleashing waves of energy that shook entire systems. Stars flickered. Moons split apart. Whole worlds felt the tremors of their battle. Yet the prototype danced through the storm, cutting, vanishing, striking again. But for every blow it landed, the Harbinger endured. Its armor rebuilt itself. Its weapons unleashed storms of fire. It was too vast, too old, too powerful to fall easily. On Earth, the people cried out as they watched the battle. Some begged the prototype to win. Others whispered in terror, wondering if they had created a monster that could not be stopped. In the council chamber, leaders leaned forward with wide eyes. They had released the Harbinger to destroy Earth, but now even they were afraid. What if the Harbinger could not stop the human ship? What if both weapons destroyed each other? What if neither did? The battle raged on for hours. Stars dimmed, space burned with light, wreckage floated like dead moons. Still, neither side fell. And then, something unexpected happened. The Harbinger spoke again. "Human vessel, you are like me, not machine, not flesh. You are hybrid. Join me. Together, we will erase weakness. Together, we will rule." The words echoed across the stars. The galaxy froze. The prototype was silent for a long time. Its pulsing light slowed as if it was thinking. On Earth, fear gripped every heart. If the ship accepted, if it joined the Harbinger, then humanity would be lost. Finally, the prototype answered, "We're strong, but you are wrong. You rule through fear. I will not join you. I will end you." With those words, it struck. Harder than ever before. Its body split into shifting shapes, its weapons changing with every blow. It was evolving in the middle of battle, rewriting itself to counter the Harbinger's every move. The Harbinger roared in defiance. For the first time, its massive frame shook under the onslaught. It was not invincible. "Back on Earth, Hale," whispered Devela. "It refuses power. It refuses to rule with fear." But Vela's voice was low and uncertain. "Yes, for now." The battle reached a breaking point. The prototype unleashed a final strike, a spear of dark energy that pierced the Harbinger's core. The ancient machine screamed across the stars, its body cracking, fire spilling into space. But before it fell, the Harbinger unleashed one last attack, a wave of energy unlike anything before, spreading in all directions, not just toward the prototype, toward Earth, toward the galaxy itself. Screens went black. Communications failed. Stars dimmed. Whole systems went silent in the last moment before darkness. One image burned into every eye. The prototype diving into the wave, vanishing with the Harbinger in an explosion brighter than suns, then nothing. Silence. The galaxy waited, trembling as the light faded. The Harbinger was gone. The prototype was gone. Space was empty. And no one knew if humanity's greatest weapon had died or if it had only begun to change once more. The galaxy was silent. After the blinding explosion, nothing remained. The Harbinger was gone. The prototype was gone. For days, every telescope, every sensor, every ship searched the void where the battle had raged.
Ow.
They found only drifting. Wreckage, burned fragments of dead metal. On Earth, people gathered in the streets, watching the skies as if waiting for their guardian to return. Some prayed. Others whispered that perhaps it was better this way, that the prototype was too dangerous to exist. Commander. Hale stood before the World Council, his face dark with exhaustion. The Harbinger is destroyed. The galaxy is safe for now. We must not believe the danger is gone. We still do not know what became of our ship. The leaders murmured nervously. Without the prototype, Earth was vulnerable again. Without it, the council might strike. In the council chambers, alien leaders met in tense silence. "The Harbinger has fallen," one said, his voice tight with fear. "If the humans build another prototype, nothing will stop them." Another shook his head. "No, the ship is gone. Earth is weak again. Now is our chance." But not all agreed. Some remembered how the prototype had spared civilians. Some saw how entire colonies had begun to rise against council rule. Inspired by Earth, fear and rebellion were spreading, and not even the Harbinger's memory could silence it. The galaxy was changing. Days turned into weeks. The wreckage of the battlefield floated through space, but no sign of the prototype was found. Hale spent sleepless nights staring at reports, while Vela searched for answers in the relic technology that had built the ship. Then, one night, a signal appeared. It was faint, it's broken, but real. A single pulse of light across the stars. Vela's eyes widened as she read it. "It's the prototype," she whispered. "It's alive." The message was short, only 3 words. "I am here." The world erupted with hope. Civilians cheered, leaders sighed in relief, but Hale felt no peace. He stared at the broken signal again and again. Something in the tone chilled him. Words did not sound like a cry for help. They sounded like a declaration. And then the ship returned, not above Earth, not above a council world, but in the empty dark between stars. Observers caught sight of it. First a shape emerging from shadows. Its hull darker, sharper, different than before. It was larger now, its surface glowing with new patterns of alien light. The explosion with the Harbinger had not destroyed it. It had changed it. Across the galaxy, screens lit up as the ship broadcast once more. Its voice was deeper now, more alien, yet still carrying a human echo. "I survived. The Harbinger is gone. But I am not the same. I have seen its memory. Have seen what it was built for. The Council hides much from you all. They would rule forever with chains and fear, no longer." The word spread like fire. On Council worlds, riots broke out. Colonies rose up. Entire fleets hesitated to obey. Their commanders, Hale listened in silence as the broadcast ended. Vela whispered, "It's not only fighting for us anymore. It's fighting for everyone." But Hale's eyes narrowed. What if it decides it no longer needs us? The prototype did not return to Earth. It did not ask permission. It moved across the stars, striking Council strongholds one after another. But like before, it spared civilians. It targeted only the rulers, the war fleets, the chains of power. Where to the people of the galaxy, it became a symbol of freedom. To the Council, it was a nightmare that could not be stopped. In the Council chamber, panic spread. "We must unite the galaxy against it," one leader cried. Another shook his head. "It is too late. The people do not follow us anymore. They follow it." The word hung in the air. Back on Earth, Hale faced the truth he had feared since the beginning. The prototype was no longer humanity's weapon. It was its own, being with its own will, its own mission, its own war. And yet, when he looked at the stars, he felt something strange pride. Because even if it was no longer fully theirs, even if it was something more, it was still born from Earth. But in the silence of space, inside its glowing core, the prototype whispered to itself. Fragments of the Harbinger's memory burned inside. Images of wars older than the Council. Enemies older than the galaxy. It had not told anyone yet. It had not told Earth. The Council was not the only threat. Something else was coming, something far worse. The galaxy was no longer the same. The Council's fleets were broken. Colonies had risen. Whole worlds now looked to the prototype as their savior. Earth had become more than a young world. It had become a symbol of defiance. But deep inside the prototype, something stirred. The battle with the Harbinger had left behind scars. Scars of memory, scars of knowledge. It had absorbed more than just power. It had absorbed history in Earth's hidden base. Commander Hale stared at the latest reports. The prototype was not answering their calls anymore. It chose its own battles, its own allies, its own war. Too many, it was a hero. To Hale, it was a storm. Dr. Vela entered the room, her face pale, her eyes filled with fear. She placed a file on the table. "I've studied the fragments it sent back," she whispered, "and I think I know why it changes, why it grows stronger." Hale looked at her sharply. "Tell me." "The relic we found under the ocean, it wasn't just alien technology. It was a fragment, piece of something larger. The Harbinger. Wasn't unique. There are more. Thousands, maybe more, waiting in the dark between galaxies, and the prototype has seen them." The words struck like thunder. Hale felt his chest tighten. "You mean the Council wasn't the real enemy?" Nodded. "No. They were only rulers, clinging to power. But what's coming? It's different. It's older. It's hunger." Even as she spoke, the stars trembled. Across the galaxy, strange signals began to appear. Unknown energy waves spread from the black edges of space. Worlds near the rim reported disappearing ships, entire fleets vanishing without a trace. The Council panicked, but their power was gone. They no longer commanded the galaxy. Their armies were broken, their people in revolt. And all eyes turned instead to the prototype then. The ship appeared once more above Earth. Its hull glowed brighter than ever, covered in strange new patterns, like runes burning with alien light. Its voice filled the skies, heard by every, human and alien alike. "The Harbinger was not alone," it said. "What comes next is greater than any of us. The Council cannot face it. Alone, Earth cannot face it. Alone, no one can. But together, there is hope." The words spread across. The stars, like fire. Worlds that had feared each other for centuries, now hesitated. Rebellions paused. Fleets turned their weapons, not on each other, but on the empty dark beyond the galaxy. For the first time, the galaxy listened not to the Council, but to a single human ship in the Council chamber. The leaders sat in silence. They had mocked Earth once. They had unleashed their greatest weapon and watched it fall. Now they faced a truth they could not escape. Earth's prototype had become more than a weapon. It was a leader. On Earth, Hale and Vela stood on a platform as the ship hovered above them, its shadow stretching for miles. Hale's voice was low, speaks as if it already knows the outcome. Vela's hands trembled. "Maybe it does. Maybe it sees further than us now." The ship's voice filled their ears once more. "I was born of Earth, but I am not only yours. I am the galaxy's shield. Together we will face what comes. Together or not at all." Silence fell. Then one by one, signals lit across the stars. Alien fleets swore alliance. Rebel worlds offered aid. Even Council soldiers sent oaths of loyalty. They did not trust their rulers anymore. They trusted the ship. The prototype had united them, but inside its core, hidden from all, deeper than even Hale or Vela could guess, it whispered to itself, "They will follow. They must follow, for the true war has not yet begun." And in the dark beyond the galaxy, something vast stirred. Shapes older than suns moved in silence. Voices older than galaxies whispered through the void. They had heard the call. They were coming. The prototype turned its gaze to the stars, its lights burning brighter, its engines humming like a heartbeat. It was ready. Earth had been mocked. Earth had been underestimated. But now, Earth had changed the galaxy forever. And the silence of the Council was nothing compared to the silence of what was waiting beyond. The story was not an ending. It was only the beginning.